All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Ready to really get those plants growing.
Always a good goal.
Well, today we're going to dive into some seriously cool research about a gene with the potential to, well, change how we grow crops. Maybe even biofuels? Who knows?
It's called Booster.
Booster, huh? Okay, so you send over this article from the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign.
Yep, that's the one.
I gotta say, that title, Newly Discovered Gene Could Supercharge Plant Growth, definitely grabbed my attention.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want bigger, better plants?
Exactly. And this isn't just about boosting growth in some lab, you know?
Oh, okay.
This research was done outside, with poplar trees facing wind, rain, all that real-world stuff.
Wait, they found this gene studying trees out in nature. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Most plant research I see is in those controlled labs, almost like super greenhouses.
Right, right. So this is like finding an athlete who trained on a mountain, not in some fancy gym.
Exactly. They're ready for the big leagues, so to speak.
So tell me more about this booster gene. How's it work?
Well, got to talk about photosynthesis first. You know how plants use sunlight to make food?
Right, right. It's all about that Rubisco protein, isn't it? Like the plant's little food factory.
Exactly. Grabs carbon dioxide, builds sugars, and the plant grows. And scientists have been trying to, make Rubisco even better for ages.
So if we could tweak this protein.
Plants could capture more CO2, get bigger yields, maybe even help with that whole climate change thing.
Rubisco's kind of big deal then. And where does booster fit in?
Seems to be the boss of Rubisco, actually. Increases how much the plant has, leads to more photosynthesis, and boom, more growth.
More Rubisco, more CO2, more growth. Makes sense. All from a gene found in trees, just out there braving the elements. That's wild.
It is. And they didn't just stumble on it either. They used this thing called a GWAS.
GWAS. Sounds a bit intimidating if I'm honest.
Genome-wide association study. Imagine you've got 1,000 puzzle pieces, right?
Okay, I'm following.
GWAS is like a super magnifying glass, helps you find the pieces that make a specific picture.
So the pieces are genes from all those poplar trees. And the picture is like how they handle the changing sunlight.
You got it. Booster was a key piece, like the cornerstone holding it all together.
Now, this part really caught my eye. The article said booster is unique to poplars, and it's in the nucleus of the cell, but with DNA from the chloroplast.
Now, that is where it gets really interesting.
Isn't the chloroplast where photosynthesis actually happens?
Exactly. It's like finding blueprints for a solar panel, but they're hidden in City Hall or something.
So this gene's like a secret agent, carrying instructions from photosynthesis HQ to the cell's control center.
Pretty much. Raises a lot of questions about how genes move around inside the cell, and how that affects how plants evolve.
Mind-blowing. Okay, so we got this gene found in trees out in the real world. It supercharges photosynthesis, and it's got this crazy connection to the chloroplast. This is a big deal. I can see that.
It really is. And the exciting part is what it could mean for other plants. But that's a story for another time.
Oh, yeah, the potential is huge. Think about, food crops. Okay, yeah.
What if Booster could make rice or wheat yields just explode?
It'd be a game changer, that's for sure. World without hunger. Because we can grow more food with less. That's the dream. But didn't the article mention some downsides, too? Scientists being cautious and all that?
Right. Always got to be careful. Unintended consequences,
So they're, putting Booster through its paces before letting it loose on the world.
Exactly. Field trials, different growing conditions. Got to see how it does long term.
The real obstacle course for this gene. And they found other interesting genes in that study, too, right?
Oh, yeah. Lots of potential for crop improvement.
Like they opened a treasure chest.
Yeah.
And now they're checking each gem carefully.
Good analogy.
It's not just food crops, though, right? What about biofuels?
Huge potential there, too. Imagine boosting those plants grown for fuel, like switchgrass.
Oh, yeah.
Could make biofuels way more viable. Less reliance on fossil fuels, a cleaner energy future.
I'm seeing the ripple effects here. More food, cleaner energy. Is Booster like a win-win for the planet?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, why was the Department of Energy funding this research? I thought they were all about, energy.
It's all connected, really. The DOE is interested in bioenergy, which needs plant material.
Makes sense.
They want sustainable biofuels that can power, everything, without harming the environment, of course.
So they're planting the seeds for a sustainable future, literally and figuratively.
Exactly. It just shows how science can, jump between fields, leading to stuff we never even thought of.
It's amazing how curiosity can lead to solutions for real-world problems.
Yeah.
But back to Booster. What other plants are they going to test it in?
Well, more of those bioenergy props, like poplars. but also food plants, rice, wheat, things like that.
A world tour for Booster, seeing how it handles different climates, soils.
Got to make sure it's ready for anything. And they're not just looking at growth either.
Oh.
Nutrient uptake, disease resistance,
Nah.
making sure the plants are healthy overall.
So it's not just bigger plants, but stronger, more resilient ones too.
You got it. Sustainable improvements, not just a quick boost. And they're working with farmers too, to make sure this tech actually works in the real world.
That's great to hear. They're really thinking about this responsibly.
Absolutely. It's not just the science, but the social and economic side of things too, making sure it benefits everyone.
It really is amazing, this whole team effort. Scientists, farmers, even policymakers. It's like everyone sees what Booster could do, for a better future.
Yeah.
But out of everything we've talked about, what's the most intriguing thing for you about this whole discovery?
I think it's got to be where Booster came from. Like, it has DNA from the chloroplast, but it's hanging out in the nucleus.
Right.
That's wild. Tells us there's a lot we don't get about how plants evolved, how those parts of the cell talk to each other.
It's like the chloroplast slipped the nucleus a note saying, hey, I found a way to boost photosynthesis. Let's make these plants unstoppable.
Aha, yeah. Makes you wonder what other secrets are hiding in there just waiting for us to find them.
This deep dive has really got me feeling optimistic about plant science, and how it can help us solve these big problems we're facing.
Oh, absolutely. It shows what we can do when we look to nature for inspiration. Real ingenuity.
Well said. Okay, before we wrap up our deep dive into supercharged plant growth, I got to ask, if Booster could enhance any plant, what would you choose?
That's a tough one. So many possibilities. What if we could, boost trees that clean the air?
Ooh, yeah.
Natural filters for cities, imagine that. Clean air everywhere you go.
Now that's a future I want to see.
Or what about those plants used for medicine? Making treatments more affordable, accessible.
Wow, those are some great ideas. It's like Booster could help us now and open up all these new doors for the future.
Exactly. And that's what's so cool about science, right? It gets our imaginations going, helps us picture a better world.
It's been great diving deep with you. And to our listener, we hope this has sparked your curiosity, shown you just how incredible plant science can be. Until next time, keep exploring.